What's up guys, in this video I'm gonna show you how I flip this sample into this. Ready? Let's jump straight into the FL Studio project. Okay, so I created my own sample consisting of a bunch of different elements. So we can start by looking into the first one. A chord progression in the key of B minor with an E piano sound. Sounds like this. The E piano is coming from the stage 73 from Arturia. The only processing I added to the E piano was the replica XT with some ping pong delay. Then we have the next element, which is a synth pad from Omnisphere, and it sounds like this. Really mellow. Processing wise, I added the Fruity Reverb 2 for a bit of space and width. Then I added the Shaper Box 2 with the panning component just to add a little bit of stereo movement. And then I added a little bit of a high pass over here just to remove the low end. The next element are these strings. Super cool. It just layered on top with these like really shimmering sounds. So the strings are coming from the Solina 5, which is also a plugin from Arturia. It's amazing for strings. For processing, I added the Fruity Parametric EQ2 just to remove a lot of the low end and mid range, just to make it play in the higher range of the spectrum. Then I added the amazing Guitar Rig 6 from Native Instruments with a tremolo effect and this bite component, which basically just adds some distortion, saturation, and degrades the sound. So bit reduction. And then lastly, I added the Neutron 3 from Isotope with an exciter component just to boost this upper range of the sound, this area up here, just to bring forth the harmonics. And then I added an EQ just to make sure that I wasn't adding any low end information, because I just want these high shimmering sounds from the strings. Then we have the next elements in this sample, and these are the mallets. Sounds like this. Just a cool melody thing. The mallets are coming from the augmented mallets from Arturia also. I'm a big fan of Arturia stuff, and I used the enchanted mallets. Then I have an ARP. It sounds like this. And if you know classic hardware synthesizers, you know that this is a 303 sound. So it's coming from the Acid 5 from Arturia, and I think this just gives it that little bit of bite to the sample. Then I have created some small vocal chops, which are the ones that you can see over here. If we solo them, they sound like this. These are basically two samples from Splice. And what I did is that I routed them to a mixer track and added a lot of processing. The first plugin is the little altar boy, where I put down the formant by -5. It gets it a little bit more of a darker tone to the vocal if I bypass it. The vocal chops are a little bit brighter. And if we enable the plugin, we get this darker tone to the vocal, which is pretty cool. Then I added some EQ to get more like a telephone kind of effect to the vocal chops. Then I added the Fruity Delay 3, just to add a little bit of delay movement to the vocals. Then lastly, the Fruity Reverb 2, just to add a little bit of reverb to these vocal chops. Okay, and then I took all of my elements, which are the yellow ones here in the mixer, and routed them to an instrument bus. And this is just to add the Soothe 2, just to clear up some frequencies, some harsh frequencies. Stuff here. And then the passive EQ, just to add a little bit of boost to the top range with a high shelf, this one here. And then I did a high pass cut, just to remove low end. Then I added a compressor just to glue stuff together, and the Ozone 9 imager just to control the stereo field a little bit. Okay, so we have the sample here. We can now export it to audio and start flipping the sample. Okay, so down here we have the sample. So it sounds like this. So what I want to try right now is that I want to pitch this down by -3 semitones. Let's listen to the result. This is really cool. I think I will try to maybe create some kind of lo-fi house track out of this sample. So one other thing that we can do is that we can actually take the BPM and put it to maybe 120 to make it a little bit slower. So we have this instead. That's cool. And I believe if we take a B minor, which is this sample, and we put it like -3 semitones, we should be in the key of G sharp minor. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. I'm no music theory genius. So what we can do here is that we can take this declicking mode, make it generic so we don't get any clicks and pops when we chop the sample up. Now we can actually go and do the really cool function in FL Studio. Click this icon up here on the sample, go to chop, go down to complex, and go to beat shuffle. Because now we make these small edits that we can use. This is really cool to make small stuff that we can, maybe small bits that we can actually use. So I'm just gonna go hunting for some sounds. So I think this one here and this one here is also cool. I need to make a small fade here. We can make this a little bit longer here. So the goal here is just to make a loop that we can have just playing. It doesn't matter if it's like has these small fades because we're gonna add some processing to it. So what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna duplicate this sample here because I want to do something more with it for like do other stuff, maybe pitch it. So this original one that we have here, we can call this like looping. So I'm actually gonna put this to a mixer channel. I'm actually gonna use a cool plugin called Space Blender. Basically just add ambient awesomeness to the loop. This stuff here. Put some color on it and texture. Here. Turn it down. So now we have just an ambient thing that can go in the background. I'm gonna put a little bit of EQ. So this is just something playing in the background. And then we can duplicate this. So this is the first one. Then we can take the sample here. And now I'm actually gonna do something else here. Gonna cut this tail off. Then we're gonna do the chopping again. Beat shuffle. So maybe we can use. We can just take this small snippet here. The idea is just to combine this on top of each other, use small bits of the sample, the original sample that we have, the mallets. So we can take this one here, so we can combine it. Really cool. So we can clone this one again because we need the sample for something else. Then we can call this like chops, and we can go and put this to a mixer track as well. Then I want this to have like a lot of reverb, so getting like those throws. So we can put it size all the way up here, a little bit of stereo separation. Maybe put the dry a little bit down. I think that's cool. Then we can take this and duplicate it and maybe even go to the mixer again for this chops and actually take a filter EQ and make this really. So we could only get this shaper box 2, use the panning mode, put that to hertz, find a rhythm here like this one, and then we're actually gonna just pan it randomly. So we get like some movement in the stereo field. Then we can go and try something else, because I'm gonna use like a pattern here. Then we need to try out the slice X to chop this sample up. So I'm gonna open up slice X, drag in the sample, and then it just basically chops up the sample for us. And then I believe we need to pitch this down as well to make it fit. So we put this down -3 semitones, so we're in the same key. This is really cool with these small bits here. I'll put this into the mixer track. So right now it's just playing all the bits for the whole sample, and I actually don't need that. So I can try to just make a small riff. So we can start to create some kind of new rhythm, new like melody. I have no idea, I'm just trying out stuff right now. Maybe have this one here. And what we can try to do is we can take maybe this one, and we can actually pitch this up 12 semitones, so we get 1 octave up. This is cool. This is really cool. So I'm gonna start with the decapitator to push it. Yeah, that's cool. Then we're gonna add some delay from the replica. Maybe try to add the phaser here. This ping pong mode. You can put in this new riff that we made. Try to combine it with the other stuff that we flipped. It's pretty cool. Then we can take the original sample here, just this small snippet here, and maybe we can fill out the gaps here. So we can take this part here, and maybe this part here. No clue if this is working. So we just keep these elements here. I'm just gonna call this like down hit. We can put a little bit of reverb to this down hit. Okay, we need to add a bass and some drums to this one. Okay, so I added a bass line, a kick drum, a drum loop from Splice, and some crackling noise. This is how everything sounds together with the sample that we flipped. Enjoy. So it's just a total new vibe that you can get by flipping your own samples. I think this one is pretty cool. Okay guys, this is how I make my samples and flip them into something new. I hope this video showed you a little bit of the process that I'm going through in creating my samples and then flipping them using the different techniques in FL Studio. And I just hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, it would mean so much to me if you would smash that like button or even subscribe to the channel. And you can always drop a comment down below if you want me to cover other production aspects or other stuff in the FL Studio DAW. You can just let me know in the comment fields down below. I would love to help out. Okay, I hope to see you in the next video. Take care, peace.